Most of us wonder how we'd react if the unthinkable happened. A plane crash, a shipwreck, or a fatal accident. For most, these are worst-case scenarios we hope never to face. But for a few extraordinary people, they weren't just nightmares, they were reality. Against impossible odds, these survivors lived to tell their stories. Today, we're looking at true stories of people who survived the impossible. Stick around, because the last one holds a Guinness World Record for the highest fall survived without a parachute. In 1971, 17-year-old Juliane Koepcke boarded Lancer Flight 508 with her mother, heading to spend Christmas in Peru. But tragedy struck when the plane was struck by lightning and disintegrated mid-air. Juliane, still strapped to her seat, fell nearly 10,000 feet into the Amazon rainforest. Miraculously, she survived the fall with a broken collarbone, deep cuts, and a concussion. Alone in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, she remembered her parents' teachings about the jungle. Following small streams, she trekked barefoot through the dense forest for 11 days, fighting off infections and insect bites, until she stumbled across a group of loggers who rescued her. Juliane went on to become a respected biologist, proving that knowledge and sheer willpower can save your life. In 1978, Soviet scientist Anatoli Bugorski was working on the UE-70 particle accelerator when disaster struck. While inspecting the machine, a safety system failed, and a proton beam shot straight through his skull. The beam entered the back of his head and exited near his nose, at nearly the speed of light. Amazingly, he didn't die instantly. He reported seeing a flash, brighter than 1,000 suns, but felt no pain. Over time, half his face became paralyzed, and he suffered seizures. Doctors never expected him to survive more than a few days, yet Anatoly lived on for decades, continuing his research quietly in Russia. His story remains one of the strangest and most unlikely survivals in scientific history. In 1985, British climbers Joe Simpson and Simon Yates attempted to scale Silla Grande in the Peruvian Andes. On the way down, Joe fell and shattered his leg. With a storm closing in, Simon tried to lower Joe down the mountain using a rope, but Joe slipped into a crevasse. Believing his friend was dead, Simon cut the rope and made his way back to camp. But Joe was alive. Alone, with no food and a broken leg, he crawled and hopped his way across glacier and rocky ground for 3 painful days. Just as Simon was preparing to leave camp, Joe dragged himself into view, barely alive. His survival became legendary, later told in Joe's book Touching the Void and a gripping documentary of the same name.
We climb because it's fun, and mainly it was fun, and that's all we ever did. And we were fairly anarchic and fairly irresponsible, and we didn't give a damn about anyone else or anything else, and we just wanted to climb the world, and it was fun. It was just brilliant fun, and every now and then it went wildly wrong, and then it wasn't.
In 2013, Nigerian cook Harrison Okene was working aboard a tugboat when it suddenly capsized during a storm. The ship sank to the bottom of the ocean, about 100 feet below the surface. All 11 other crew members drowned. But Harrison was trapped in a tiny air pocket in the wreck. For nearly 3 days, he sat in total darkness, waist-deep in freezing water, without food or fresh air circulation. He recited psalms and prayed, convinced he was going to die. Then, against all odds, a team of divers arrived to recover bodies, only to find Harrison alive. The divers were so shocked, they initially thought he was a ghost. Harrison's miraculous rescue was captured on video, and he became known as the man who lived under the sea. Finally, perhaps the most astonishing survival story ever recorded. In 1972, flight attendant Vesna Vulović was working on Flight 367 when a bomb exploded mid-air. The plane disintegrated at 33,000 feet. Vesna was the only survivor. Trapped by a food cart in the fuselage, she plummeted all the way to the ground, over 6 miles. Somehow, she landed in a snowy hillside, which softened the impact. Vesna suffered a fractured skull, broken legs, and temporary paralysis, but she eventually recovered. The Guinness World Records officially recognized her survival as the highest fall without a parachute. Vesna became a national hero and later campaigned for peace until her passing in 2016. Her story is a chilling reminder of both the fragility and strength of human life. These incredible stories show us the power of resilience, luck, and sometimes sheer coincidence. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of the sky, these people proved that survival can defy all logic. Which of these stories amazed you the most? Would you have lasted 11 days in the jungle like Juliane, or 3 days at the bottom of the sea like Harrison? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into human survival, hit the like button and subscribe to stay in the know.